Hello class, this is a video tutorial on equations. In this video we're going to learn we're going to be learning about reversing algebraic expressions. In this video we're going to go from a given algebraic expression. We need to know how to return to a single pronumeral. Okay, so in this example you can see we have an algebraic expression, x plus 5, and we want to know how to get back to just x by itself. Well, if you just think about it, how did we get here in the first place? X plus 5, in order to return to x by itself, that plus 5 has to be removed. The only way we can actually remove plus 5 is the reverse of it. Well, the opposite of adding must be subtracting. So we're going to be subtracting the same amount that it says here. So if it's plus 5, we subtract 5. Hope you can sort of see where this is going. If it's x minus 3 and we want to return to x by itself, well, we need to add 3. Okay, if we have 3x, okay, well, 3x is 3 times x. Okay, the reverse of 3 times x, the reverse of times, has to be divide. Since it's multiplying by 3, we must divide by 3. And the last basic operation we have, this is x over 4. Since this means x divided by 4, the opposite must be multiplying by 4. So now, those are the 4 basic operations. However, it's not as simple as doing one step at a time. In these next examples, you're going to see 2 steps. You can see that there are 2 steps here, 2 sets of arrows for every example. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, and give any of these a go. And I want you to sort of figure out how we went from one expression to the next. I'm going to be answering these in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. You can see from 7x plus 10, next step, the plus 10 is missing. Well, if the plus 10 is missing, that means that 10 must be gone. The reverse of plus 10 must be minus 10. For 7x to become x by itself, well, 7 times x, the reverse must be dividing by 7. From negative 9x minus 4, the minus 4 is missing. Well, the opposite of minusing 4 must have been plus 4. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Negative 9 times x, to go from x, the opposite of times is divide. And we need to divide by the exact same number that it says here, because that makes it the exact opposite. So we're dividing by negative 9. Moving right along. X over 5 minus 8. Well, the minus 8 has gone, which means we have added 8. And then from x divide 5 to x by itself, we must have multiplied by 5. I hope you're sort of getting the idea here in how to return to a single pronumeral or a single letter on its own. I want you to give it a go yourself. Pause it at any time you like. Let's continue. Negative x over 6 plus 3. In the next step, the plus 3 is missing, which must mean minus 3 must have occurred. To reverse this plus 3, from x divide by 6, it's really dividing by negative 6, means that the opposite is multiplying by negative 6. 3 times x plus 10 in brackets. Well, for the 3 to have gone, that must mean that there's a division of 3 here. Yeah. And then from x plus 10 to x by itself, that must have mean minus 10 had to have occurred. A very similar expression here in a problem. Negative 2 bracket x minus 3 to x minus 3. The negative 2 has gone. This bracket, in case you've forgotten, is negative 2 times everything here. If this is multiplying by the bracket, the opposite must have been dividing by that negative 2. And I hope now you can sort of easily see that minus 3, the opposite is plus 3. Moving right along. In this one, how did the x plus 10 over 3 become plus 3 on its own? Well, since we know that this big fraction means divide by 3, the opposite must be multiplying by 3. Then x plus 10 to x by itself, that must have been subtracting by 10. To our last example, I want you to give it a go. Pause it at any time you like. Answering in 3, 2, 1. X minus 3 divide by 5 or over 5. The opposite to get to this expression, well, it must be that we have multiplied by 5. Then since this is subtracting 3 to get x by itself, we would have done the opposite, which was adding 3. So now I hope that gave you a very quick explanation on reversing algebraic expressions. And reversing, really, we are doing the reverse of the operations. Hope that gave you insight. Best of luck.